Islam Makhachev has
like
yeah. Khabib has said Islam Makhachev will not fight Belal Muhammad. We discuss who Paddy Pimblett's next fight should be. Should Chandler retire? And Volk is going to be an active champion as he reigns over the featherweights again. Sit back, relax. I'm here with the two legends. I'm going to say Lamey, Luke and Jamie.
Our name together.
Yeah.
We are Lamey.
Sit back, relax. Let's get into it. Yes, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to the Sanderson Show. As always, please do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Click the links in the description and subscribe to Luke's channel and Jamie's channel as well. Boys, how are you doing this, Tuesday night, shall I say?
Yeah, not bad.
Sweet.
Decent.
20's coming home.
Yeah, not bad, innit? Not bad. Life could be worse. Life could be worse.
You could be Michael Chandler.
You could be who?
Michael Chandler. Who I'm going to rip into later, by the way.
Oh, I know. I can imagine now.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Right. I do want to start with Khabib, and he has spoken about Islam Makhachev today. So I want to read some stuff. So firstly, he's come out saying he's not going to fight Belal Muhammad because they're very good friends and they've trained together, etc. He's also said that he believes that Arman Sarukian is a more competitive fight for Islam Makhachev than Ilia Topuria. His camp have also said that they wouldn't be opposed to Paddy getting the next title shot and Justin Gaethje getting the next title shot. They've also come out saying they don't believe that Ilia deserves a title shot at 155, and also that if Della Maddalena beats Belal Muhammad, that they will pursue the 170-pound belt. So a lot to unpack there. I want to start with the first point, or this point. Khabib has said that Ilia has to earn his right to fight at 155 pounds for the belt. However, he's also said that Gaethje deserves the title shot. Now, I don't know if I'm being silly here, boys, but check me out here. Gaethje is 1-1 in his last two. The one that he lost was a devastating knockout loss to Max Holloway at 155 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He then beat Rafael Fiziev on, I think it was 10 days notice. Rafael Fiziev, who's not ranked in the top 15. Ilia Topuria's last two wins was a knockout win over Volkanovski, who just reclaimed his title, and a knockout win over Max Holloway. Now, even though the fight was at 145, where's Max Holloway ranked at 155?
He is ranked number 4.
Ranked in the top 5. So technically, Ilia Topuria has earned his title shot at Topuria if we're basing it on the fact of Max is ranked number 4 because he beat Justin Gaethje, who was ranked number 2 at the time, I believe, in the 55-pound division, and beat him at 55, and Ilia's beaten Max and knocked him out. Is Khabib's camp, in your opinion, Jay, are they trying to wait out for the welterweight fight, or are they literally just trying to avoid the Topuria fight at the moment?
Yeah, they want him to have the easier fight, which is understandable. They want him to have the easier fight. I mean, what champion wouldn't? Ilia's too much on a roll at the moment to give Ilia the fight. I also understand it as well. He's never fought at 155, so he
fought once, but not a top level fighter.
Yeah. But then, I suppose Islam hasn't really fought 155 as that much recently either. So, it's a bit hypocritical from their point. But if I'm looking at it, Gaethje is the easier fight. Take Gaethje. Absolutely. Also, Gaethje is a name. People say he's an aggressive fighter. So he fought an aggressive fighter, a lethal fighter, and he beat a lethal fighter. But then Gaethje's trajectory is that way, where Ilya's is that way, ain't it?
Yeah.
So they're camp-wise, I'd fight all these fighters, before I fight Ilya. You know what I mean? You don't want to go near Ilya, and you don't want to give Ilya that first title defense and he beats you. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
Gaethje ain't going to beat you, but. I do think Ilya does need one fight at least first before fighting. As I keep saying, build story. You don't have to.
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that in the next segment.
Link Cook.
Luke, if the Islam Makhachev camp is saying that, look, he needs to earn a title shot at 155, why does the same not apply to Islam Makhachev at 170?
This old chestnut. For me, I don't know why he's even wanting to pursue the 170-pound belt yet. Because he's not.
Picture. How many has he got?
He's got too many. Because he's not completed the journey yet at 155. If you were to clean out the division at 155, and we're thinking, Islam's got nothing to do really, and now he wants to go up, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? He probably earned the right to go up. But there's so many matchups at 155. It's like you're just trying to skip all the other opponents before jumping up, which makes no sense. Like there's plenty of other matchups that he can be doing at 155 before he fights at 170. If he had no one left, then I'd be a bit like, look at the body of work he's done. He probably deserves the right to go up. But I don't know why he's pursuing it at the moment. It just looks odd.
It's for legacy, isn't it? I mean, everyone compares him to Khabib. In his mind, how do you stop the Khabib comparisons? You win the belt in the second division.
One, it's like 55ers, because I can also understand from his camp where he's like, yeah, I don't want to fight Ilya, because I think Khabib has said, yeah, if he fights another 45er at 55, they'll be like, see, Islam only fought 45ers at 55, so how good is he really?
Here's the thing, though. If Max had beaten Ilya, and Max wanted to challenge Makhachev, I don't think Makhachev and the team turned that down.
Yeah, because Max has just knocked out Gaethje at lightweight.
But I just think they see Max. I think they genuinely see Topuria as a very hard fighter. They just don't want to say it.
The problem is, though, a lot of the 55ers, I think, are quite easy matchups for Islam at the moment. But the hardest matchup for him is Ilya.
The way the division is shaping out, unless you want to go down rematches for Islam against Charles, Dustin's not going to happen. I think the division, he's sort of, with him taking that stance, he's sort of closing himself of options, because the division, it's slowly matching itself up. Based on rumors, reports. Like, don't be surprised if you see Dustin Max 3 announced in the next 2 weeks. Makes no sense, because I would not have booked that matchup as Dustin's retirement fight personally. But
you wouldn't?
No, I would have given Dustin to Ilya, because Ilya's changed his name to the Legend.
Poor Dustin, man.
AKA the Legend Killer.
You want to kill Dustin on his last fight?
We're talking about giving, we're talking about, he needs to legitimize himself at 55. Why not go in there with the 55er that gave Islam his toughest test? And if Topuria went in there, knocked out Dustin in a couple of rounds, then you're going, there's your story. Because Islam, I beat Dustin quicker than you did. And that's the story, rather than seeing Dustin Max 3. Personally, no, I don't want Dustin to get all the CTE, because I like Dustin. But
yeah, we got love for Dustin.
I don't know why I don't think many people want to see.
Wanted that, Luke.
Yeah, I've said it for ages. Like, Dustin versus Max 3 makes no sense. We've seen it twice. Dustin won.
It's good on paper, but I don't think it gets out of the first round.
It's second round at best.
Builds the story. We're talking about stories. Building stars, building stories.
It is true what Luke's saying. Like you look at the 155 division at the moment. What is next for Islam? And there's 2 fights I'm very
and then the
intrigued.
Paddy name gets thrown up. I'm like, oh,
Well,
Paddy's not ready yet.
no, there's a fight I want for Paddy. There's 2 fights in 155 that I think they should do.
But don't
right
that's
now.
the next segment. That's the next segment.
All right,
That's the next segment.
Do
Do you know what? Screw it. We've spoken about it. Guys, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think about the Islam situation. Let's beat Paddy Pimblett because he put on a career best victory against Michael Chandler. And look, let's be real. He said it before the fight that people are going to move the goalposts. They kind of have been. But what I will say is the UFC have mapped out his journey so far absolutely perfectly because every fight they've given him recently has been a big name and a very winnable fight. I don't think anyone was shocked that Paddy won. I think we were mainly shocked at the way he potentially did it. So I don't think anyone's shocked at the result of him beating Chandler. I think we're shocked at how convincingly he beat Chandler and the way he beat Chandler. That being said, though, guys, I got a proposition. Paddy's now ranked number 8 in the lightweight division. Again, I'm going to speak about the rankings with you guys as a topic because the rankings came out today and I'm shocked by some of the rankings. Paddy versus Ilya, guys. Yes or no?
Not yet. I've got
too early.
Why, guys? Why?
Too early.
My fight for Paddy. This is what I think. Right. This is what I think Dana and the UFC might be cooking here. I think it would be Paddy versus Gaethje next.
Okay.
So
you don't think Gaethje gets a title shot?
No, because I think it is going to be Ilya and Islam, right? Gaethje is a very winnable fight for Paddy out of everyone above him in the rankings. Very winnable. Gaethje, Paddy, and then if Ilya beats Islam, it's Paddy versus Islam for the title. I literally I think that's what they're trying to build here. Because Charles Oliveira, I love the guy. We all do. Don't love Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
He's had so much time at the top now. They need fresh blood. They need to move forward. They need something fresh at the top of the division. Gaethje, I just don't. If he gets a title fight, he's just going to get beaten. Like it's not intriguing for me. What is intriguing?
It's a fresh matchup for Islam.
It's fresh, but it's so late in his career. Do you know what I mean? And Gaethje versus Paddy is very interesting for me because you got the Michael Chandler thing there. They both fought him recently. Paddy probably put on a far better show. You know, uses. I think Paddy's got better fight IQ than Gaethje has as well.
Yeah, not the second best behind John Jones, by the way, because that is speaking way out of line, Paddy.
Yeah,
and at your ass.
What did Paddy say?
Said he's got the second best fight IQ behind John Jones. I thought it's a short.
No, he needs to do his talking. He wants to get. I don't want to see Charles versus Paddy is very interesting because of the submission game and the jiu-jitsu and all that. I think it'd be an actually interesting fight. And I think the way Paddy's developing now, I think Paddy beats Charles Oliveira. But Paddy Gaethje for me, is the fight. And then Ilya versus Islam. I just don't know I think for me, like Luke said, it should be Islam versus Gaethje. And then build that story with Ilya. But UFC have got it right in their hands right now.
I've got another proposition. For me, I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be Paddy versus Arman Tsarukyan. Because Arman Tsarukyan, because he's been a very naughty boy, he's getting punished. Because he's not getting the next shot. Even though we probably say that he probably deserves the next shot. He's got the win streak. He gave Islam one of his toughest matches at 55. He's probably Islam's toughest test for the title, possibly.
Yeah.
And we know that when you piss off Dana, you piss him off real bad, and he doesn't like you anymore. And I think Arman's in that camp where he doesn't like him anymore. And, Paddy and Arman, they were talking back and forth before he fought Chandler up in the fight during fight week.
Good shot.
You strike while the iron's hot. If Paddy beats Arman, then #1 contender bout right there and then. No questions asked. I still think he, whichever way you get, like you match Paddy up, he's only one win away from the belt if everything lines up to perfection. But for me, the story makes sense for Arman versus Paddy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My theory, both great ideas, by the way, boys. I don't think there's any wrong answers here. But the reason why I'd go Paddy and Ilya now is because they're both still young enough that even if they have their fight now, they can still have a second fight, and that builds an even bigger story, in my opinion. If Ilya beats Paddy, he would have proved himself against a legitimate lightweight who's got a massive name, and then he gets the title shot after it, which, in my opinion, makes the title fight for him even bigger. If Paddy goes and beats Ilya, who is seen as this unstoppable force, and they've got history, then Paddy gets a title shot off the back of making his name even bigger, beating a fighter who's in their prime. Because let's be real, the one thing Paddy hasn't done yet is be a top fighter in their prime. If Paddy does that, then there's no questions, and he gets a title shot. In terms of Gaethje, I think you give Gaethje the fight with Makhachev, and I know it's going to sound harsh. Give Gaethje the fight, Gaethje loses, and I think Gaethje actually retires, and it frees up space in that division.
Yeah.
So, because with all due respect, it's going to sound really hard. Maybe it's revisionist.
Where does that leave Arman then? Because he's left in no man's land, unless you're going to wait to give him Hooker.
Arman's kind of got to be left in no man's land. You're right. Dana's upset with him, but Dana this time is fully justified to be upset with him.
Yeah,
he had the whole backstage, the hotel fight with Bobby King Green.
Just call him
then
Bobby Green.
He punched a fan.
Yeah.
Then he pulls out of a fight less than 24 hours before said fight, in a fight where he was cleared by doctors to fight. 3 strikes, guys. The one of which is the last one is the one that Dana White. He would have been better going in there with the injury and the UFC knowing he had an injury, losing the fight. Dana White would have given him more respect. And Dana probably would have said, look, one more fight, you win one more fight and you get a title shot again. But now he's at the back of the queue. He has to be. And look, I understand it from Arman Sarukian's standpoint that you want to be as close to 100% going into a title fight. I get it. But then you've also got to take on the other side when you don't take the fight, what the consequences are. Like, you pulling out of a fight 24 hours before the fight is insane. You put a whole pay-per-view at jeopardy. Remember, Islam's trained the whole camp for you as well. You could have thrown everything into just jeopardy. So I think Arman has to be in no man's land for now. And I'll be honest, the third fight I'd make at 155, apart from the Poirier-Holloway fight, Oliveira and Hooker.
Oh yeah, is that fight being done before?
No. Hooker's wanted to fight for a while. Oliveira said he's fighting for a while. Striker versus grappler, but Oliveira can obviously strike as well.
Yeah, Baller said Dan Hooker versus Paddy. I like it, but that doesn't get Paddy closer.
I actually think that fight might actually be harder for Paddy than the Gaethje fight because Dan Hooker is rangy. And if there's one thing Paddy's had over his opponent so far, is that range and that distance management.
Yeah. And plus, Paddy's only like a couple of rankings above, like below. So it doesn't really make that much sense, really.
Well, I will say, though, 155 is a fantastic division at the moment.
It's monster.
Only if Islam decides he wants to stick around. That's why I need Belal Muhammad to beat Jack Della Maddalena, because if Islam decides to go, what? See you later, boys. I'm done. I'm going up to 170. You're sort of going to have an interim belt, and then you're going to have to wait. If Islam goes up and loses, but you got an interim belt, then he's just a whole effing mess.
See, I don't think Dana's going to allow Islam to move up until he's fought Ilya.
Yeah.
All right. On that, then, Jay.
Maybe that's the sticking point.
Let's say Islam is given the opportunity to fight at 170. Let's say he wins. Do you think he goes back down to 55 and defends the belt again?
No, he stays at 170.
Do you think so?
I don't know.
He's quite a big guy, isn't he?
He's not that tall though for the division.
No, He's just,
I don't know. I do feel like that the UFC need to sort of draw a hard line. If you don't plan on defending both divisions simultaneously, then you're dropping your belt.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Just like Ilya did. Because Ilya dropped it because he couldn't make the weight. If you want to do the double champ, I need to see a double champ actively defending both belts. So if you can only defend one belt,
Ilya could have made. Sorry to cut you, bro. Ilya could have made the weight. He just chose he didn't want to anymore.
Well, if that's the case, then you have to, you have to get in line.
But then this is the problem. So this is where Dana White will kind of screw up if Ilya doesn't get the title shot. Because if I'm a champion in a division and I want to move up now, I'm not going to relinquish my belt then.
Yeah, true.
Because really and truly,
Dana's created.
No, I hear you, but really and truly, what Dana should be doing is going, look, every time a fighter's gone up, a lot of the time when they do the double champ, they don't go back down to the lower division.
No.
And it's a problem because you've got to vacate the belt. Someone else got to fight for the belt, and it leaves a cloud over the division. Dana White has always said he doesn't want that. So if Ilya has gone above and beyond and said, look, I'm not going to hold up the division, I'm going to move up to 55, the precedent should be set that, right, I'm moving up to 55, I'm getting a title shot. So if you're a Marab, if you're a Pantoja, if you're a Islam Makhachev, you know within yourself, you can go, I relinquish the belt because I know I'm going up and getting a title shot. But if he doesn't get the title shot,
this is where he probably needs to give Makhachev a couple more zeros on the end of that.
Yeah, but do it. Like, I'm good with Makhachev getting more money. Let's be real.
Look,
Makhachev don't turn down fights.
Wins, then okay, we'll let you jump up to 170. But we need to know if you're committed to come back down again. Because if not, then goodbye to the belt.
Well, you got to do. Well, if he's going to go up to 170, he's got to do what Ilya's got to do. He's got to relinquish the belt then.
Yeah, unless he guarantees the UFC that he'll do it simultaneously.
They won't guarantee it. If that's the case, you give up the belt, and then you go back down and fight for the 55-pound belt. Then simple as, because otherwise you're going to have this whole thing where you're waiting to hold up the division. Speaking about Paddy, the person he beat at the weekend was Michael Chandler. Jamie, this is your segment, bro.
Go for it.
Jeff Hat, the stove's hot. Cook, my bro.
In the kitchen.
Michael Chandler is the thickest fighter of all time.
Well, I didn't expect that.
He's got no IQ about the business or the sport. And he's a danger to himself. And if I'm Dana White, I never give him a fight again. He doesn't listen to instruction. He doesn't listen to his coaches. He thinks it's okay to get your face bashed in all the time and then go in the last round and just bite down and throw haymakers and try and get something. Doesn't use his wrestling enough. He's just got no IQ. I don't want to see him fight again. I'm done with Michael Chandler. In fact, I believe if Conor McGregor did have that fight with Chandler a few months back, he would have beat Michael Chandler because Chandler's IQ is not good enough to beat someone like Conor McGregor who've been out for so long. I don't want to see Michael Chandler again anymore. Boring. Don't want to see it no more. It's a danger to himself. He's not going to beat anybody in the rankings higher than him. He's going to get battered. He got battered by Paddy, who's got no stand-up. I mean, we should let that sink in for starters. Paddy destroyed his face. Destroyed his face.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him fighting again. He's not. He doesn't listen to anybody. He's got his way, and his way he thinks is.
Sorry to cut you, Jay. Antonio, when Jamie, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jay, but when you're saying boring, not boring as a fighter, boring in the sense of what's going to happen. He's going to go in there, get beaten up, and then try and secure a win in the final round. Like it's
his tactics. It's not his tactics. I don't want to. I don't know about you, Antonio. I don't want to see him getting smashed up anymore. He gets smashed up so much. He got smashed up by Paddy, who's got no stand up.
Stand-up's okay. He's got okay stand up, but it's not
Yeah,
an
and
elite
he got
striker.
smashed. I just don't want to see who's he gonna beat? Yeah, he can put on entertaining fights, but at the end of the day, if it's to his own detriment and his health, then I don't want to see it. I'm all for fighters' health, man. I've always have been.
And
I want to see Tony Ferguson fighting for as long as he did. I don't
Yeah.
actually want to see, I've been on about Gaethje not, carrying on for, as long as he has been, because you can hear it when he talks now. I'm all about fighters' health and welfare. And for me,
Yeah.
Michael Chandler just needs to call it a day, because the next fight he has, he's probably just going to get smashed again. And his face is going to look like a bloody mess again. And it's not good for him.
Yeah. Luke, I want to ask you a question off the back of that. Since he's come to the UFC, his first fight was against Dan Hooker, who won that fight. Then he lost against Charles Oliveira. Then he lost against Gaethje. Then he lost against Poirier. Beat Tony Ferguson. Now he's lost against Oliveira again. And also now lost against Paddy. Has Michael Chandler's UFC career been a success or a failure?
Depends on what you wanted when you first joined. Because if it was
wanted
to
the
win the
belt.
belt, then he's failed. If it was to have bangers, then he's succeeded. If it's to become a fan favorite, he's semi-succeeded. But whoever advised him, he should have sacked him or her for advising him to sit out for 2 years to wait for McGregor. Should have sacked him on the spot.
I don't think that was. See, for me, that's more on the UFC, because the UFC should have got a concrete answer for Conor and then allowed Chandler to know what was going on.
Yeah,
I think that's more on the UFC. And look, let's be real, Conor could drag that out for his own benefit as well, just to keep himself in the media. So,
and look,
I don't hold Chandler accountable for that as such, because I think anyone in their right mind would have probably held on for that Conor fight because of the payday, the prestige, the brand it would have built for yourself. For me, the UFC takes the blame there, because Conor should have had a timeline to compete in that fight, and then when that timeline had expired, then
we're still talking about maybe taking the fight Sunday against Chandler. All right, mate.
Conor's not coming back, man. Conor's done.
Mate, just no. But no, when you look at his record, he's failed. And when it comes to challenging for the belt, he's failed. He's just, I bet he's a nightmare to train. As Jamie said, the IQ makes absolutely no sense. Gets punched in the mouth, and then it's like all systems go. Haymakers for everyone. He should not be getting another fight again. The fact that Dana loves him means we're going to be seeing it. Antonio, I do understand. Yeah, Chandler didn't have to take the Paddy fight. Probably got paid a good chunk of change to take the Paddy fight.
I respect him for it. Yeah, no doubt.
Respecting for it. Like, look, Chandler said that if he were the one, he would have called out McGregor, which would have been fucking embarrassing if he would have won that fight, just to call out McGregor. So the fact is that he lost.
Yeah, and UFC puts it perfect. Chandler trained so hard just to go out there and fight with no game plan. Do you know how frustrating? And you alluded to this as well, Jay. Do you know how frustrating it must be for his coaches?
Imagine Henry Hoover. He's got Henry Hoover in the corner, man. Henry Hoover must be like, for fuck's sake, this fucking bum.
Yeah, it must drive him insane. Because let's be honest, whenever Chandler comes into a fight, he's always in fantastic condition, fantastic shape.
Yeah,
so it's not like he's skipping training sessions. It's not like he's not trying hard and putting everything into the training camp. But remember, his coaches are doing the same from a physical and a mental standpoint. For you to game plan and for you to go out there and just ignore the game plan time after time after time after time must be the most frustrating thing. And look, here's the thing. He could have gone out there and fought a completely different fight against Paddy, but again, he chose not to. He fought and played into Paddy's hands. In the first round, he was taking Paddy down. He was taking Paddy down.
That's what I mean by
again. He didn't do anything crazy in the first round, but he was taking Paddy down. There was a route to victory for him, and he just completely ignored it and just went into business for himself. And Jay's right. I get it. Look, Chandler's that person that you maybe he can turn it around. So that's why he'll probably get another fight in UFC.
Yeah.
But I also hear where Jay's coming from at this point, in the sense of, why are we going to sign up to him fight again for him to fight? Let's be real. If he steps in there with someone like Rafael Fiziev, let's say it's Rafael Fiziev.
So he's cuts him up bits.
Fiziev does horrible things to him on the feet.
And I don't want to say that.
I don't want to stand there and say again, sorry?
Chandler's not fighting for a while.
He can't.
Chandler's now down to number 12. He's down to 12 in the rankings now. Like, he's down 5.
Yeah, for me, it makes no sense. So, I don't know. I don't think he'll retire, but it's not looking good for him.
Just run him and Pitbull back, for fuck's sakes. Fuck it. Rerun that shit again.
Well, Luke, I'll quickly stay here with you. We've seen Pitbull just come over from Bellator. Chandler came over from Bellator. MVP's come over from Bellator, all of whom have come over in their mid to late 30s.
Way too late.
Is this setting a precedent that if you get past a certain age now for the UFC, you just have to kind of call it a day?
Yeah.
Or you're just coming over for a payday, effectively?
Yeah, pretty much. You're basically coming for a payday to get your name out there and to get smashed. So it'll be very interesting to see how Aaron Pico does when he makes his debut. Because he's in his mid-20s. So this is different. So it'll be very interesting to see how he does. Yeah, Antonio, Chandler did say that he'd never fight people again. Yeah, but it's be two old men fighting in the bar, those two fighting again. So it'll be very interesting. If you're in the mid to late 30s and you've been fighting your career outside the UFC, don't bother stepping into the UFC, man, because you'll just get cooked.
I can understand why Chandler fights the way he does. He came to the UFC late in his career, and he wanted to put on the show and make money. I get it.
He's done that. He has done that.
He's done that.
He's made his money.
He's been here a while now, and I think he needs to just, it's like he does training camps with zero game plan.
Yeah.
And obviously he doesn't.
It's not like he's short of money, though, because he's
got businesses outside of it as well.
He sat out a whole year, 18 months with no fights whatsoever. So he's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah.
People, smash the like button if you haven't already. Right, moving back over to the featherweight division. Volkanovski picks up a fantastic win in a fantastic fight against Diego Lopez, and he reigns over the featherweight division again. All of us on Saturday kind of sat there and went, it should be Evloev next. However, Evloev has come out saying that he's happy to fight Yair Rodriguez or John Silva or whoever.
Wrong.
John Silva's tried to campaign for a title fight, which absolutely would be crazy.
Wrong.
Yair is now trying to get a title fight for me, which is even more crazy.
Wrong.
I can never do what?
And again, I don't think this is to do with Volk, by the way. But surely, guys, there's not a world where Evloev doesn't get the fight against Volk next. Surely not.
He's got to. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to see anyone else.
Hey, the UFC, hold my beer. Hold my fucking beer. Because in their rankings that came out, Yair Rodriguez is ranked number 4. Evloev is ranked number 5.
No, so this is where the UFC have been smart, and I'm glad you brought up the rankings, Luke.
Oh, they're both ranked 4 apparently. But
exactly. So Volkanovski is now the champion at featherweight. Max is ranked number 1. Diego Lopez is ranked number 2.
And put LOL.
Ilia Topuria is ranked number 3. And then number 4 is Yair and Evloev. Then number 6 is Allen, Ortega number 5, Lerone Murphy, Sterling, Emmett, Silva, Chikadze, Yusuf Zalal, Ige, and Calvin Kattar. There are 3 things here. How on earth is Max ranked higher than Ilia? How on earth are Max and Ilia still in the rankings? How is Yair ranked above Evloev when he fought Pitbull, who's not even ranked and hadn't been in the UFC? And how on earth has Bryce fallen out of the top 15?
I don't know.
Like, honestly, what's going on with, like, and again, does this just go to show that even though Dana says he's got nothing to do with the rankings, the fact that he's gone on
Bullshit.
such a tirade, has he now influenced the people doing the rankings to go, we'll put the people in certain positions that we think will make the boss happy? Because there is no way on this planet that Yair should be ranked above Evloev. And there's no way Tapora should be ranked below Holloway. And there's no way those two should still be ranked in the featherweight division when they both moved up to
It's
155.
It's bollocks.
Like, what
Who
is
wants to
going
go
on?
first? Who wants to
Yeah,
go
go
first?
for it.
Well,
Go
go
for
on,
it.
Luke. You go. Go on.
The AI rankings, we'll be having the same problems. It's sort of ironic how Elon Musk is there at the UFC when Dana's just signed a contract with arguably his biggest rival in Meta with Mark Zuckerberg. So LOL. These rankings are a disgrace. Max and Ilya should be nowhere near these rankings because they have both declared that they are no longer in this division, so they can move up. So technically, it should be Diego Lopez ranked number
He's
one.
number one. Yeah.
With it should be Evloev, then
Ranked
maybe
number
Yair
two.
Rodriguez as your 2 and 3. For me, okay, is Evloev the most exciting fighter in the world?
Sorry to cut you, Luke. Yair, before he fought Pitbull, who did he lose to?
Brian Ortega.
Where's Brian Ortega ranked?
Hold on.
Number
Did he lose to Brian
7.
Ortega? I'm just gonna double check that because I might.
Number 7. Ortega's last loss was to Diego Lopez. How is Yair right? 3 places above Brian Ortega?
I just need to double check whether or not I got that right. No, lost to Ortega. Okay.
Yeah, he
okay.
got submitted.
Yeah. And this makes no sense. Like, for me, the money's there. Lopez versus
Ortega.
Rodriguez at UFC Noche.
So
The
yeah,
rivalry's there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Chef's kiss. Booked. Love it. Evloev versus Volk. Do I agree that he should be fighting in 3 months? Probably not, because Volk took some beating. I think he had a broken thumb in camp. Yeah. Lopez should be next.
Did you say Volk had a broken thumb going into the fight?
Yeah, I think so. I think someone came out saying that he was carrying an injury.
Guy's a beast.
So when you're looking at the rankings, you've got Lerone Murphy piping up saying that he wants a title shot.
Lerone can't either.
Lerone can't because he didn't really put in that stellar performance against Josh
But not
Emmett.
even that. You can't beat number 8 or number 6 or number 7 and get a title
These
shot.
are where the rankings sort of, are a little bit skewed, because Lerone would be number 6 in the rankings, because if you take out Max and Ilya, and Arnold would be jumped up to like number 4, and Arnold's out injured at the moment. So
yeah, when was the last time Arnold fought?
Probably, I think it was Evloev. Yeah, because he's been injured since. I don't like 2 Brits fighting each other in the same division, but you got Arnold versus Lerone, like that as a matchup. You got Sterling.
I like that fight.
Yeah, I like that fight. I don't like 2 Brits fighting each other, and a little bit.
Nah, it's got to be done, man.
It's got to be done. But obviously, you got Aaron Pico making his debut. Who's he going to fight against? Another big name. You're going to give Pitbull another name in this division?
Aaron Pico.
Probably someone like a Dan Ige.
Yeah.
Gene Silver, like, what you can do with Gene Silver? Like, look, yeah, nice try, buddy, talking up against the title shot. Yeah, I know you're hot because you beat Bryce Mitchell and everyone's gassed that you beat Bryce Mitchell, but come on. Like, that ain't gonna go. Maybe Silver versus Sterling, Silver versus Ortega. Okay, I'm down for that. Get you at the rankings, but come on, man, you should not be protesting for title shots. And look, Yair Rodriguez, I don't want to see Volk versus Yair 2. Volk's going to have a very short run with his belt. I want fresh matchups for him, because I fully expect next time Volk drops that belt, I think he's done. So let's give him fresh matchups.
Staying on the rankings, bro, because I'll be real with you, the rankings really have rubbed me up the wrong way. the lightweight division. Mateus Gamrot, who hasn't fought in God knows how long, was moved up in the rankings
above Paddy.
Above Paddy, who beat number 7. And also, how, if you lose to Paddy, are you dropping 5 places in the rankings?
That's why these rankings make no freaking sense, man.
How does that happen, bro?
No idea.
Like, I don't get how you lose a fight and you drop 5 places. I don't get it. If you lose, you drop 1 spot and whoever beats you leapfrogs you and everyone goes down 1. Like, I just don't get it at this point. I genuinely don't understand.
These rankings, LOL.
It stinks, man. Like, Paddy should be number 7. Paddy should be ranked above Gamrot. Gamrot hasn't fought in a long time, and his last fight was a loss, if I'm not mistaken. So how the hell is he ranked above Paddy when Paddy just beat a fighter ranked above him?
LOL.
It's
That's why I
crazy.
say LOL. 100% LOL. Like, look, MVP is not even bloody ranked that. I say middleweight, but Shara Putin wasn't ranked, so
No, Shara was ranked at number 15.
Shara was ranked, but
yeah,
I see no MVP ranked at 85.
Exactly. And remember,
Is that not how we operate normal?
Max stopped Gaethje at 155, and Max was ranked number 9 at 155, while Gaethje is still ranked number 2.
Yeah.
Like, the rankings make no sense whatsoever. It's actually scary how bad the rankings are.
And
sorry about that. I put flight mode on my laptop.
That's all right.
And this is why.
How have I even done that?
But this is why Dana wants to do these AI rankings. It's not going to make it any better. It's probably going to make it worse. And it's really interesting now. We probably won't touch on it in detail, but the UFC's deal with the ESPN's just run out today.
Oh, is it
now
today?
Negotiating. Yeah, the UFC want over $1 billion US dollars.
Yeah, they'll get that
in their deal. I'm sorry, when you're doing shit like this on a consistent basis, you don't warrant $1 billion in revenue.
Luke, they'll get it easily.
So I was watching, is it Bloomberg? I had it on the other day, yesterday. I was watching Bloomberg, all the stock stuff and all that. And they were talking about the deal for UFC. Apparently, UFC's numbers and ESPN have gone that way.
Yeah,
they've just dropped off like a thing. There's a lot of drop off on UFC at the moment, and there's not a
product's on stale.
The interest in UFC is at the lowest it's been for years, apparently.
I'm not surprised. Wow. I am not surprised when you see the products. The fact is that they had another record gate this weekend, but that arena was
we watched it.
Was not
dead,
full
wasn't it?
whatsoever. It's dead. The pay-per-view model in America is fucked.
Yeah, but the pay-per-view model everywhere is.
Everyone's just streaming there.
The pay-per-view model is a mess everywhere now.
Yeah. That's why there's no interest. But this is what I say. Dana's love for the UFC is not there no more. He's more interested in the boxing, to slap. That's his passion. And if that's the case, that's fine. Just hand it over to Hunter.
I'm a slapper as well. I ain't gonna lie.
True. But like, if your passion isn't no more, then hand it over to Hunter, and then you go do whatever you want to do.
That's the rumor going around.
Oh, that he's going to hand it over to Hunter Campbell.
So the whole rumor going around is that Dana will eventually just take over the boxing side of things, and Hunter Campbell will take over the UFC side of things.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Please.
Here's the thing.
Dana's too much. The most popular person in UFC is Dana White, and that should be the case.
And that is wrong on so
Shouldn't be
many
the front
levels.
center of everything
And
anymore.
I have to say, I'm sort of fed up of seeing Donald Trump and the US government at every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
getting
know
down.
that you're a UFC fan, and I know you're like, oh yeah, I'm super right wing.
Doesn't need to be there. It's throwing it down our face constantly.
Yeah.
And
To
these
be there.
all the fighters are apparently Trumpies. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell they've been told to do it.
Here's
They're
the
all like
thing, though, guys.
knocking Trump off in the front.
Yeah, it's
Like when they
ridiculous.
win the fight, they want to get Trump's. Oh look! Oh hi Trump! Oh look at me, Trump! Look at
Well,
me,
it's
Trump!
either they want a picture of Trump, or they want to shake his hand, or they want to go on a Joe Rogan podcast.
Like,
Oh.
Why is there not a UFC podcast?
Because conflict of interest.
Literally, you've got everything, all the infrastructure. Why is there not a UFC podcast?
Never be
Conflict
bigger
of
than Joe
interest.
Rogan's. They know they can't be bigger than Joe Rogan.
But it doesn't need to be though, because they could
Because
still
then-
do both.
Joe,
No,
Yeah,
Joe
they
Rogan
could
just takes the UFC fighters and take them on his podcast. Like
They
he's
get
been
more
doing
eyes. They
Ilya.
get
Well,
more eyes.
have you seen who his latest guest is?
Ilya.
That's going to be fireworks.
Oh, it's a bloody.
So that is the UFC
I know, bro.
podcast.
Every
It's
night,
just
bro.
on Joe Rogan, man.
Every night. But
Oh, I'm with Antonio. Big up Antonio. I'm with you, man.
So all my casual now. Rogan, DC, casuals.
Rogan admits he's a casual now.
leave DC out of this shit, look.
Fuck DC.
Nah.
No,
DC can get it too. I don't give a fuck.
They have to put an extra lens on to get DC in shot.
To be honest, I don't need an extra lens to get me on screen, to be fair.
No, you're good, man. You're good. But no, no.
No, DC's actually he's way bigger
do-
than you, Luke. Way
do-
bigger than
Do you think they need a commentary redo?
100%.
Anik's too emotional. He's crap. Anik don't get me. As a play-by-play guy, I don't think he.
He's got the same punchlines.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't ever think he was better than Goldie. Ever.
The last time I got hyped from a John Anik call was the Leon Edwards head kick.
I think
That's the last time I got hyped.
I think Goldie.
Last time I got hyped.
Goldie wipes the floor of him as a play-by-play.
The only thing with Goldie didn't. I think Goldie has to be in a 3-man team, not a 2-man team.
I think him and Rogan were the best together.
Get Paul Felder, man.
When I listen back now, Rogan kind of carried Goldbridge. Goldbridge had great one-liners, but he didn't have a great knowledge of the fighting game.
No, he didn't, and that got found out sometimes. But I don't know. Do you know who's the best commentator in sport? I can't remember his name now. The geezer on SmackDown.
Oh, is it Tressor?
Yeah, he is tremendous.
Jay, you'll know the name. Who was the guy?
Well,
He was on Raw for a little bit, bald guy, and he used to commentate for Bellator. That's it. Jimmy Smith was right there. Smith is quality.
He was UFC commentator for a couple of fights.
Yeah.
Mauro Ranallo. I love
Mauro Ranallo's the best though, ain't he? But
I think he would annoy you in the end. Like I listened to his Bellator commentary.
He goes over the top, yeah.
He goes massively over the top. He goes, "Mamma mia!" I'm like, "Come on, man! Like you don't need the Mamma mia all the time."
The best commentary I've ever heard in MMA is on Pride with Mauro Ranallo and what's his name, the Dutch guy,
Bas Rutten.
That is the best commentary duo ever.
Bas is the guy.
That is
Hey,
the best.
real fight that Paul Felder should be on the mic permanently. Yeah, love Paul Felder on commentary. Brendan Fitzgerald, I like. I don't like Cruz on commentary, but I like the fact that he's so knowledgeable.
Is Fitzgerald the British guy?
Yeah.
No, that's John Gooden's the British guy.
Yeah, Gooden.
Yeah, he shits all over
Anik.
Yeah,
here's the thing: what you just said about Cruz, I think Cruz would be perfect for you remember what Dan Hardy used to do when he used to break down fights for UFC?
Yeah.
I think Cruz would be perfect for that because he's not the most entertaining guy. He does take himself too seriously, but his knowledge is crazy.
It's elite.
It's crazy.
If only certain other co-commentators showed that dedication.
Hey, what are we doing there? What are we doing? Your DC catching strays again.
I think that I think people might disagree with us, but I think
DC's
we all
eating the
agree that
strays.
UFC is a little stale right now with a lot of things in the
It
company.
is stale, man. Like, even the presentation, it's like stale. Like if you're going into that big corporate meeting, you're thinking, guys, you need to start.
I miss the
The
gladiatorial
numbers
thing.
aren't matching what I'm seeing.
I miss the
Shall I tell you what it
gladiatorial.
is?
I miss the gladiatorial thing. They've never replaced it.
Yeah. Shall I tell you what it is with the UFC? I think they could start a podcast. I think they should do. You see, with pay-per-views, you know they do countdown, but they only really cover the main and co-main event. If they're going to do that with countdown, that's fine. You've got embedded. That's cool. I think, and this is where maybe your TNT Sports and your other networks do some more. You see, like the other fights on the card. I think you can do a 15-minute video on each of those fights, breaking down recent fights of each competitor, the strengths and weaknesses, and maybe a snippet of some of their quotes. 15 minutes, and you can release that all the way through fight week. You can release 2 a day through fight week. And I think that again helps sell the fight, because let's be honest, where was the promotion for Yair and Pitbull? I know they did the press conference, but really and truly, where's the promotion for that? Ex-Bellator champion who's come over, 2-weight Bellator champion, by the way, who challenged for a 3rd belt, beat Michael Chandler, who was on the co-main event,
cricket,
and he's fighting Yair, who's a Mexican fighter and who was an interim champion. Where was the promotion for that? Bryce Mitchell and John Silver sold the hell out of their fight. They sold the hell out of their fight. Where's the Dominic Reyes and Krylov situation? Dominic Reyes, who should have beaten John Jones, has gone on a skid, losing to Blachowicz, who was the next champion, then losing to Yuri, who was another champion, then losing to Ryan Spann. Then he builds himself back with 2 back-to-back wins. Krylov's been away for 2 years. Why was he away for 2 years? Who knows? Exactly. We don't know. We're fans of the sport who follow it, do the watch-alongs. We can't tell you why Krylov was away for 2 years. This is the main card. Jay, I hate to compare it to wrestling, and I'm way more of a casual than you are. Bro, there is a storyline for every single match at WrestleMania.
Everything's should have storyline.
The Fatal 4-Way with Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Bron Breakker. You've got Penta, who will he stay as a single star or will he team up with his brother who's over on SmackDown? Bron Breakker's potentially seen as the next big star in the company. Is he going to drop the belt or not? Then you got Finn and Dom, who are in the same faction but look like they're at loggerheads. But there's 4 different stories in one match, and I can tell you that as a casual, bro. But as a massive UFC fan, I can't tell you why Krylov was out for 2 years.
No,
because they don't give us the information, bro.
They don't.
So how are we meant to get invested? How are we meant to sit there and go, this is why you need to watch the fight, to another friend or family member? How?
Storytelling and great stories is in every sport you know of. The best rivalries in every sport have got story behind it. The best movies you've ever watched that grip you, that get your attention for 2 hours, has probably got great story. The UFC fights back in the day, Chuck Liddell's and the Couture rivalry, they had great story. I think UFC 64 was the highest rated UFC of all time at that time because of them two. The Tito story with Chuck and Dana White, the Ken Shamrock Tito story. You know, the later on in UFC, Lesnar, Frank Mir. You know, that story was, I think, probably the best heavyweight story ever in UFC.
Yeah.
You know, and how intrigued were we all for them fights? No, couldn't miss them because we're built in. Now I just feel we're programmed to watch.
Yeah.
We're a customer.
Yeah, Antonio, facts as well.
It's like washing up. It's like washing up after your dinner. You got to do it, otherwise the flies get around it and it starts to stink. So you have to do it. I think that's what it's like for us right now. We're all hardcores, but we're customers, and that's how they treat us.
Yeah, and look, Antonio's right. Another major problems of press conferences. They're dead and cringy.
Oh, they're boring.
And they're boring because McGregor was right. Everyone on stage wants to be like him, talk like him, dress like him, and you're not getting the fighters' true selves. You're just getting carbon knockoffs of what McGregor was.
Like, don't get me wrong, McGregor sold his arse off.
Like a
to make
prime McGregor on the mic. You're not touching shy. And see some of these bombs toward like me, yeah?
You're right. But check it though, Luke. How much backing did the UFC give him as well? Press conference in Dublin.
Rocket.
Press conference in Brazil. Main event in Ireland. Ian Gary still hasn't got a main event in Ireland. What the hell? Like, how has Ian Gary still not had a main event in Ireland? He got a main event in Ireland. He was on talk shows. Brazil press conference with Aldo. Dublin press conference with Aldo. Press conference with Nate Diaz. Press conference with Khabib. Like, all these things. Like, again, Conor was a perfect person. But
this money.
The Mayweather. Look what they did with the Mayweather stuff.
Because of money. Because they realized with the pandemic, I think the pandemic sort of opened up the UFC's eyes. It's like, we can do less but make more.
Yeah.
They got lazy, man. They got lazy. That's why they're expanding the Apex. So they can do fights there because they can still make the same amount of money, but with less crew.
Yeah,
that's why they got lazy, man. And that's why the product's stale. That's why the interest is the lowest it's ever been. Because no one really cares. Because Dana don't care. And when Dana doesn't care, should we care?
You had 3 African champions at the same time, and they couldn't put on one event in Africa. Drake is the champion.
I understand when you're like, pull the trigger on Paddy versus Ilya, because you might not get the opportunity again. And we're very critical of the UFC when they've forgot to pull the trigger on, Jones and Ngannou, what looked like it's going to be Jones Aspinall, Jones Stipe like 8 years ago, other super fights that should have happened, but the UFC didn't quite pull the trigger on. Yeah, so I can understand why you've pulled the trigger.
And here's another killer. If Paddy and Ilya fight, what's the betting it happens in America as opposed to Europe?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you know how much of a drop? Do you know how much of a ball drop that is? Pause. Like, you've got 2 European fighters.
Why their second biggest market?
And
why is it their second biggest market is the UK? Why is it not been a Wembley Stadium fight yet?
Because there's no roof.
Crazy.
That's why.
Out of Netflix and Prime, do you think Netflix do you think Prime has a chance, considering they've already coupled up with the WWE and that's already a massive success? Do you think TK will just look at that and go, why disrupt anything there?
Oh yeah, they're going. I think apparently the rumors are the Netflix and UFC deal's almost done. Apparently,
it makes sense.
I wonder if the UFC fighters are going to get paid more. Oh, probably not.
You know they're not.
Next,
how do you think? Because am I right in saying, Jay, the whole of the WWE catalog now is on Netflix? Am I right?
A lot of it is. Every pay-per-view and stuff like that is, and anything that isn't is on WWE Vault. And then WWE decided to make a WCW YouTube channel to put all the WCW stuff off free to watch.
Okay, so like, you see all the old Raws and stuff that was on the WWE network. Is that now on Netflix or is that on the Vault?
No, that's all. That's on the Vault. There is some on the Raw on Netflix. If you go on Netflix, they got it's called WWE Collection. They got shit loads on there.
Surely that's what they do with the UFC then.
You'd have thought. And then UFC open up. They can make a Pride FC YouTube channel, but all Pride channels, all Pride stuff on there for free for people.
And Strike Force, you can do Strike and WEC.
People will be intrigued, man.
They could literally, they could literally do WEC, Pride, and Strike Force, and they're dead clean up.
Yeah, totally would.
Well, we'll see. But look, people,
they love to say how he's broke all the records for sales and attendances, but at these pay-per-views, but yet the product's dead.
Yeah, because they're just charging more money. He couldn't fill out their stage, the arena the other day.
Biscuit.
So it's almost a crazy one. But boys, before we sign off, Jay, you got anything coming up on your channel?
No, not tomorrow. I'm with Drift on Big Up tomorrow night for the Madrid game.
Cool. Luke, anything for yourself, bro?
Not at the moment, no. Depending on what my evening's like, I may join Jamie and Drift on Big Up, but I'm not too sure yet.
Oh, there you go.
Cool,
Big
cool.
up, man.
Decent. I may drop a video. I was going to say tomorrow, maybe maybe Thursday. Actually, just speaking about the state of the lightweight division and if any other news comes out. So do have a look out for that. On Kopish, probably nothing tomorrow. If it is something tomorrow, it'll be during the daytime or early evening. Thursday, I don't know if we've got anything. Friday, we'll be back as well. So
And then Good Friday, they'll be reacting to Virgil van Dijk's contract announcement.
that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told. But no, boys, always a pleasure. Appreciate you doing this. People in the comment section, please do smash that like button on the road to 7,000 subs. Make sure you subscribe to Luke's channel. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie's channel. Show them that love that they deserve. And until we see you again, people, it's been another one in the books. UFC 314, amongst other things. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching and listening. Take it easy, people.
Peace.